15,000 men lose their sight, and one emperor gains a name that outlives empires. This should be annihilation. This should be the end. By the end, you'll understand how this happens, why a ruler chooses darkness as a weapon, and why the people who survive it carry a war home inside their own bodies. This isn't a story about a monster on a throne. It's a story about a system that rewards endurance until endurance turns into cruelty. The spine question is simple and brutal. How does Basil, Emperor of the Romans, break Bulgaria without breaking himself? And what does that victory cost when the battlefield goes quiet? Basil grows up inside marble corridors where every whisper can kill. He wears purple before he earns it. He learns early that a crown does not sit on a head, it sits on a throat. Regents rule in his name, generals bargain with his future, and courtiers smile while they count who might replace him. Basil's lips crack in winter air as he stands through ceremonies that feel like cages. His fingers go numb under gold rings that weigh more than chains. His lungs burn when he forces himself not to cough during prayers, because a cough looks like weakness. He watches men call themselves loyal while they build private armies. He watches food vanish from storehouses when officials skim it. He watches soldiers return from the frontier with empty eyes and broken teeth, and he understands that an empire does not fall in one dramatic moment. It falls in 1,000 small thefts. So Basil trains his body like it belongs to the army, not the palace. He rides until his thighs shake. He drills with weapons until numb fingers can still close around iron. He fasts until hunger becomes familiar, because hunger is what waits beyond the city walls. He swears an oath, not in poetry, but in grit. Basil tells himself that nobody will hold his reign like a puppet again. What does that require? Patience sharp enough to cut, suspicion without paranoia, discipline without softness. He watches rebellions flare, powerful families rising like storm clouds, and he learns the first rule of survival. You do not fight every enemy at once. You isolate, you wait, you strike when their friends hesitate. In the west, across mountains and rivers, another system hardens into place. Bulgaria does not see itself as a footnote in Roman history. It sees itself as a kingdom that has earned its space with blood, raids, treaties, and stubborn survival. Samuel rises within it, not as a painted villain, but as a leader who understands terrain better than titles. He fights with what he has. He uses mountains as walls, forests as allies, winter as a blade. He watches Byzantium's internal chaos and smells opportunity like smoke on the wind. Miles away from Basil's palace, Samuel gathers men around hearths and in rough war councils of his own. They are rich, Samuel says, and they are divided. We will teach them to fear our roads. His voice carries pride, but it carries calculation too. Basil becomes emperor, in fact, not just in name, and the empire tests him immediately. Powerful generals revolt. Basil rides against them, jaw clenched so hard it aches, lungs burning in dust, fingers numb on reins through long, cold nights. He learns what loyalty costs. He learns what it takes to keep an army fed without being robbed by his own officials. He learns that victory is less about one battle and more about refusing to stop. When he finally turns his full gaze to Bulgaria, people expect a clean demonstration of Roman strength. Basil refuses clean. He wants final. The war council forms in a chamber heavy with incense and impatience. Maps spread across a table, lines marking passes, fortresses, rivers that flood, towns that switch sides depending on who arrives first. Basil stands at the head, lips cracked, eyes steady. His generals speak carefully because a young emperor who survives internal rebellions becomes dangerous. One advisor, blunt and wary, says, "Sire, Bulgaria bleeds us by 1,000 cuts. We chase shadows through mountains." Another, eager for glory, snaps, "Then we bring the war to their heart. Serdica is the lock. Break it." a third warns. Samuel does not fight like a fool. He retreats to where the land fights for him. Basil listens, fingers numb against the table edge, and his spine question tightens inside him. How do you break a kingdom that refuses to stand still? How do you end a war fought on roads that vanish into forests? Basil speaks, and the room leans in. We take Serdica, Basil says. We show them the empire still bites, and we do not let pride choose our road back. He sends an ultimatum because emperors always do. It is formality wrapped around threat. Surrender the fortress. Recognize Roman authority. Pay tribute. Stop raiding. Basil's words travel on horseback into Bulgarian-held lands, and they reach Samuel like a slap. Samuel replies without kneeling. Tell your emperor, Samuel says, that mountains do not pay tribute. Then, colder. If he comes, he leaves something behind. Basil hears the refusal, and it does not surprise him. It sharpens him. He gives his own reply, a line meant to carry through years. Then I come, Basil says, and I take what you think the mountains can hide. The march begins. Basil leads men through the Balkans with banners that look bright against gray skies. The road climbs, narrows, twists. Rain turns to cold mist. Boots slip on rock. Wagons groan. Basil's lungs burn in thin air, and he forces breaths to stay silent. He feels his fingers go numb around leather as wind bites through gloves. He tastes blood where his lips split again, and he swallows it because a king does not spit in front of an army that already fears the pass ahead. Every mile becomes a micro-arc. Basil plans. The land pressures. He decides. Men pay. Scouts report ambush points, broken bridges, villages stripped of food. Basil orders discipline. Because hungry soldiers become thieves, and thieves become hated, and hated armies get cut apart in forests. A common soldier mutters, "The mountains stare at us like judges." Another answers, "Better judges than Bulgars with knives." Miles away, Samuel prepares. He does not rush to meet Basil in open ground. He watches. He moves like smoke. He sends men to harass, to burn supplies, to lure Roman columns into narrower paths. Let him climb, Samuel says. Let him sweat. Then we close the gate. Basil reaches Serdica, and the siege begins. Stone walls resist. Defenders jeer. Basil's men dig, build, push, starve the fortress into surrender. Basil's jaw aches from clenching when news arrives of Bulgarian raids elsewhere. His advisors urge haste, urge withdrawal, urge patience, urge risk. Every choice carries consequence. Hold the siege, an advisor insists. If we leave, we look weak. Another urges. If we stay, Samuel cuts our rear. Basil decides, and the decision costs him. The siege drags, supplies thin, morale frays. Finally, Basil breaks off, not because he lacks will, but because the arithmetic of survival tightens. He orders retreat, and he knows Samuel waits for this moment like a hunter waiting for prey to turn its back. The first clash hits at the gates of Trajan, and it feels less like a battle and more like the world collapsing. The pass narrows, trees crowd close, rocks rise like teeth. Samuel's men seal exits, arrows fall, shouts echo off stone. Basil's lungs burn as he tries to breathe through dust and panic. His fingers go numb, and for a terrifying heartbeat, he cannot feel the hilt in his own hand. A commander rides up, eyes wide. "Sire, we are surrounded." Basil's voice cuts through, short under danger. "Then we cut a way out," Basil says. "Stay with the standard." Samuel watches from above, intelligent and patient, not drunk on slaughter, but focused on outcome. "Do not chase," Samuel tells his men. "Close, crush. Let the pass do the killing." A Bulgarian fighter near the rocks spits and says, "Today, Rome learns the mountain's law." The Byzantines break, not in total destruction, but in a shattering that scars. Basil escapes with difficulty, reportedly by narrow paths and desperate guards. He returns to safety with the taste of humiliation in his mouth and the knowledge that the empire's strength means nothing if the emperor cannot read the land. This should be the end, shouldn't it? A young emperor loses in a pass, and the legend dies before it forms. But Basil does not die, he hardens. Back in Constantinople, Basil does not soothe himself with excuses. He does not blame fate. He studies. He reforms. He strips power from those who failed him. He reorganizes supply. He strengthens discipline. He forces the army to become something that can endure war as a season, not as a single heroic gamble. His cracked lips become a familiar sight at councils, his jaw always tight, his lungs always burning from nights spent awake over maps. Miles away, Samuel expands. He raids deeper, he captures towns, he takes prisoners, he builds an image of Bulgaria as unstoppable, and he does it with real skill. He tells his advisors, Basil bleeds, we keep him bleeding. He is legitimate in his men's eyes because he wins and because he fights alongside the hardship of his kingdom. Now Basil begins the long answer to the spine question. If Bulgaria uses movement, Basil uses repetition. He campaigns year after year, not always for dramatic battle, but to grind. He takes fortresses, he cuts roads, he rebuilds towns under Roman control. He denies Samuel easy raids. He makes the war boring on purpose, because boredom kills momentum. Then the trap appears, a moment of strategic brilliance that shifts the war's tide. Samuel leads a raid far south, deep into Byzantine territory, confident that Rome still lurches. Heavy rains swell a river, and Samuel camps thinking water protects his flank. Across the river, the Byzantine commander Nikephoros Ouranos watches in darkness and finds what Samuel overlooks: a ford. He crosses at night, and dawn arrives with Roman steel inside the Bulgarian camp. Samuel wakes into chaos. "To arms!" Samuel shouts. "To the horses!" But water, mud, surprise, and blades make commands feel like prayers. Ouranos' men strike fast. Bulgarians stumble in wet grass. The river that seemed like a shield becomes a wall behind them. Many die, many scatter. Samuel escapes wounded, reportedly by sheer luck and stubbornness, pulled from the crush by loyal hands. A Bulgarian soldier cries, "We are trapped!" And the word carries a new fear, because traps are supposed to belong to Bulgaria. Miles away, Basil receives word, and he does not celebrate like a man tasting revenge. He nods like a man marking a turning point. "Now we teach them a different war," Basil says. His voice is quiet, but his decision echoes. The spine question returns, sharper. How does Basil turn one victory into an ending when Samuel still lives and still learns? Samuel does learn. He stops raiding so recklessly. He fortifies. He pulls back into the mountains again. He makes Basil chase. He understands that Basil wants to grind him down, so Samuel tries to keep the war alive through surprise, through winter strikes, through relentless defiance. Basil answers by becoming relentless in a different way. He campaigns almost every year. He appears where Samuel thinks he will not. He builds roads, he strengthens garrisons, he treats logistics like a weapon. Basil's fingers go numb holding reins through cold marches. His lungs burn in mountain air. His lips crack when wind knifes across ridges. He keeps going anyway because Basil believes endurance can be engineered into victory. At a war council in the field, an advisor warns, "Sire, the men grow tired." The treasury groans. Basil's jaw clenches. "Then we spend fatigue," Basil says. "We spend gold. We spend everything that keeps the empire from dying by pieces." A common archer, warming hands over a weak fire, murmurs, "He means to outlast the mountains." Another replies, "Then we march until our bones learn the road." Miles away, Samuel watches towns fall. He hears that Basil takes one fortress, then another, like a hand closing into a fist. Samuel's advisors urge negotiation. Some urge another grand strike. Samuel refuses surrender because surrender means his kingdom becomes a memory. Basil thinks time is his, Samuel says. We will steal time back. Years pass in the story, like hammer blows. Basil takes Skopje. Basil presses into Macedonia. Basil pushes west. The Bulgarian realm contracts and stretches, contracts and stretches, like a wounded creature refusing death. Each campaign becomes its own micro-arc. A fortress resists. Basil pressures. Basil chooses either siege or bypass. Consequences spill into winter, into hunger, into civilians forced to pick sides. A village elder, seeing Roman banners return, whispers, "How many kings must we feed before we can sleep?" A soldier answers, voice flat, "Until one king remains." The spine question refuses to leave. How does Basil finally end it? And what does he become when he does? In the summer of 1014, the war draws toward a choke point. Samuel chooses a defensive line in a narrow place near the mountains, where a pass funnels an enemy into a killing zone. He builds a barrier, a palisade, and he stocks it with men who know Basil's habits. Samuel believes the pass will repeat Trajan's Gate. He believes Basil will crash against wood and stone and lose men until retreat becomes necessity. Samuel stands before his commanders and says, "Here, the Romans stop. Here, Basil breaks." One advisor cautions, Basil is not the same man as 986. Samuel's eyes stay hard. Neither am I. Basil approaches the pass with the weight of decades pressing on him. He rides through heat that turns armor into ovens. His lungs burn in dust. His lips crack in dry air. His fingers go numb, gripping leather slick with sweat. He sees the Bulgarian barrier and feels the old humiliation stir, but he does not let it own him. He studies. He waits. He pushes, testing the line. Arrows fly, men fall, the barrier holds. An advisor murmurs, "Sire, the wall is strong, the pass is narrow." Basil answers, "Controlled." "Then we do not use only the pass," Basil says. "We use the mountain." That is the decision that opens the final stand. Basil sends a force under a trusted commander to climb, to circle, to find a way behind the Bulgarian line. It is slow, dangerous work. Men climb through rough terrain, sweating, scraping skin on rock, breathing like bellows. Below, Basil keeps pressure on the palisade, making Samuel focus forward. Miles away, which now means just beyond ridges and trees, Samuel watches the front and thinks he reads Basil's mind. He sees repeated assaults. He sees stubbornness. He thinks this is Basil's war, grinding frontal pressure until someone breaks. Samuel does not see the flanking force until it becomes too late. When the Byzantines hit from the rear, the day fractures. Bulgarian defenders turn. The barrier that once pointed outward becomes a trap with no clean exit. Panic spreads because mountains do not allow easy retreat. Men collide. Commands drown in noise. A Bulgarian soldier screams, "Behind us! They are behind us!" Samuel shouts, furious, trying to pull order out of chaos. "Hold the line! Do not run!" Then, a harsher truth. If you run, you die with your back turned. Basil feels the moment change. He senses it like weather shifting. His jaw aches from clenching. His lungs burn as he pushes forward into the opening. His numb fingers tighten around steel, and he rides into the press because he understands what a breaking point looks like, and he refuses to let it heal. Basil calls out, voice sharp, "Forward, now!" That is not glory, it is timing. The battle becomes brutal in the way crowded fights become brutal, not theatrical, just relentless. Men slip on dust and blood and churned earth. Shields splinter, spears jab. Blades find gaps. The Bulgarian line collapses into retreat, and retreat becomes flight in the narrow valley. Thousands are captured. Thousands die. Samuel escapes, but his kingdom does not escape the meaning of this day. The spine question hangs over the field, unanswered for one more heartbeat. How does Basil finish this without letting the war drag on for another decade? This is where the story turns dark, and history becomes a debate wrapped around a deed. Basil stands with prisoners, and his empire's law offers punishments that are meant to disable, to humiliate, to warn. Blinding exists in Byzantine practice as a way to make an enemy unfit to fight or rule. Basil knows this, Samuel knows this, everyone in the Balkans knows what it signals. It is said Basil orders the prisoners blinded in groups, leaving one man in each 100 with a single eye to lead the rest home. Some sources claim 15,000, others report 14,000 or fewer, and historians argue the numbers because medieval numbers often swell like legends do. But the act itself remains because it fits too well into the logic of terror and morale. An advisor hesitates because even hardened men flinch at what mass punishment implies. "Sire," he says, "they are defeated. Must we go this far?" Basil's lips are cracked, his voice steady, his jaw locked. "Samuel must see what defiance buys," Basil says. "If this war continues, it kills more than eyes." A common soldier nearby, watching the prisoners, whispers, "May God forgive us." Another murmurs back, "May God end this." Miles away, Samuel waits for news, expecting losses, expecting retreating survivors, expecting anything but what arrives. Then the columns come, guided by one-eyed men. The sound is not screams carried on wind. The sound is softer, worse, shuffling feet, staffs tapping, the low murmur of men trying not to panic as darkness replaces daylight. Samuel stands as they approach. His advisors hover, terrified to speak first. The one-eyed guides lead their hundreds like broken flocks. Faces are bandaged, eyes are gone or ruined. Men reach for each other so they do not fall. The war walks back to its king in silence. Samuel's throat tightens. His mind races through strategy, through retaliation, through despair, through the realization that Basil has turned mercy into a weapon and made the future feel smaller. Samuel whispers, "Basil." And it is not admiration, it is disbelief. One advisor stammers, "My Tsar, we must make peace." Samuel's pride tries to speak, but his body rebels. It is said he collapses, struck by shock and illness, and that he dies soon after, within weeks, as his heart fails under the weight of what he sees. Sources vary on the exact chain of events, and historians debate the drama versus the medical reality, but the symbol holds. The blinding does what Basil intends. It breaks something inside Bulgaria that swords alone do not break. Does that make Basil a genius, or does it make him a warning? The aftermath spreads beyond one field. Bulgaria does not fall instantly, but it falters. Basil continues the campaigns. Fortresses open their gates. Leaders surrender. By 1018, the Bulgarian state collapses into Byzantine control, and Basil stands at the peak of power. The empire expanded, the frontier steadier than it has been in generations. People call him Bulgar-Slayer, and the name sticks like blood. And Basil? Basil does not suddenly become calm. He carries his sensations like scars. His lips crack in cold ceremonies of victory. His lungs burn when he walks through churches, heavy with incense, and thinks of mountain air. His fingers go numb around a cup at feasts where nobles praise him, and he wonders which praise is loyalty and which is fear. The spine question returns one last time, and it changes shape. How does Basil break Bulgaria without breaking himself? The answer feels ugly in the mouth. He breaks Bulgaria by becoming something harder than the war itself. He breaks Bulgaria by turning discipline into obsession and law into terror. He breaks Bulgaria by outlasting Samuel, outthinking Samuel, and finally outwounding Samuel in a way no army can easily heal. Now the opening paradox comes back with new meaning. 15,000 blinded is not just a number meant to shock. It is a signal flare from the medieval world, telling you that empires do not always win with cleaner swords. Sometimes they win by rewriting what survival looks like. And here is the twist that lingers. Basil's victory creates a Byzantium at its height, but it also proves a method. When rulers learn that terror works, they reach for it again, and the cost spreads forward through time like a stain. If you want more stories like this, like the video, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Does Basil's act end the war faster, or does it poison the victory so badly that it becomes its own defeat? And when you picture that road back to Samuel, do not picture banners or trumpets. Picture the small, steady tapping of a single wooden staff on stone, leading an endless line of men who cannot see the sun.